Hello everybody, good evening and welcome to the United Stand. I'm Mark Goldbridge and this is the latest Manchester United news for you. Apologies, we will be talking about the sale. Is there going to be a major update on the sale tomorrow? Some people believe there will be. We'll be talking about that. Also, just a little bit of breaking news coming out from the Fiorentina CEO about Amrabat. Remember, we've spoken about him this morning. Fabrizio spoken to about us this afternoon. The CEO has said no bid's gone in for Amrabat yet. If one does come in, we will consider it. So he is gettable. He is gettable. Have United got the funds? We've been linked to Lavia again tonight. Have United got the funds? We'll also be talking about Onana. Have United got the funds? There's a very distinctive plan A and plan B here. Onana or De Gea and a cheaper goalkeeper. I'm going to say something massively controversial here. Even as a David De Gea fan, even wearing green, you can't keep David De Gea. Even I say you can't keep David De Gea, and I'll explain why a little bit later, but plan B cannot be the option. United cannot take the horse to water and then not let it have a drink. And what I mean by that is there are plenty of people that want this Onana deal. There's plenty of people that want to change the style of goalkeeper we have. You cannot effectively prick tease United fans and then say, no, you can't flirt like that. I like De Gea. I think we should have stayed with De Gea for another year. But now what we've done in the last few weeks, I think we have to replace him. You can't do that. Because if you thought the criticism of De Gea was bad last year, imagine what it's going to be like next season now that we know United thought about getting Onana and then changed their minds. It would be not De Gea's fault, but it would be the club's fault. They've got to follow through with this now. Even as a De Gea fan, I think we've all got to admit it's time to... If Ten Hag says it's time to do it, we've got to do it now. You cannot back out of that now. Even I, as a De Gea fan, would say I don't want him to stay now because he will get absolutely slaughtered because of if United bottle this Onana deal. And we all know it. There won't be any updates on the day we won our independence from the monarchy, or maybe Man United will win independence on July the 4th, says Double J. Well, let's just fly straight into that, actually. And hi, Mark, you're the best, says Prosper. Thank you very much, pal. So, look, we are Man United news. And whilst I've got lots and lots I want to talk to you about, I want to talk about Moani and the striker situation a little bit. Definitely want to get into that plan A, plan B for the goalkeeper. I want to talk about the budget, Lavia, and a few other bits as well. But, look... Manchester United, what we put as the title, United sale tomorrow, question mark. Well, look, there's two sides to the story here. Where does this all come from? Look, respect to Rio Ferdinand. He's an ex-player, an ex-legend, actually. And obviously, you know, he's forging his career in the media and wants to have his say. And a lot of people want to listen to his say. Maybe not as many as want to watch the United stand. I'm joking. We can all have a laugh on a Monday night. But... look, effectively, there's sort of what was said. He's had a chat today on his channel, and basically during that chat, this is what's been said. There's definitely some takeover news happening. I know we can't say too much for whatever reasons about what we spoke about off air. Why can't you say it? You've got a YouTube channel, just say it. I was talking to Ornstein as well, says Rio, and he's got good knowledge. We've got good sources. And also, this was a quote as well. I'm hearing some big things happening tomorrow. Once that happens, we can have the conversation about it. So, look, at the end of the day, if you want to put that on a video and then it happens tomorrow, well done. If you want to put that on a video and nothing happens tomorrow, you're going to face a bit of, you know, why do you keep saying it's going to happen? Rio was stood in a train station 2 weeks ago, did a 4-minute video and basically hinted that it was deal done. At the start of this video tonight, he basically said, and you can watch it, he basically said, we thought Sir Jim was out of it. We understand Sir Jim's not out of it. So, to me, I don't know what... It sort of contradicted itself when I listened to it. We're expecting something tomorrow, but Sir Jim's still in the race today. I think at the end of the day, and I said this on Twitter, if you've got a pregnant cow in front of you and it's looking ready to burst, at some point you're going to guess right on the day it gives birth, and at some point people are going to guess right about the sale. What I would say is, and look, I've got total respect for Rio. I've got total respect for any content creator. You know, I have. It's all about opinion. But I've said all along, people are treating this sale like it's a transfer. And when it's a transfer, you might know the dad of Mason Mount who might say, we're talking to United. It's going to get done. But when you're dealing with the sale of a business like Manchester United, there are rules and regulations, and you are not going to get the deal 24 hours before the world because there's something called stocks and shares. You would be in trouble for stock manipulation if you knew the information 24 hours before it hits. Also, the American Stock Exchange isn't even open tomorrow. It's July the 4th. It's Independence Day. Well, it could be United's Independence Day, but how's that going to work when the stock exchange isn't even open? So there's a lot of things here that don't make a lot of sense. What we might get tomorrow is the stock price goes up. What we might get tomorrow is another day that we got 2 weeks ago where, oh, I'm hearing it's really close. It's so close. It's closer than close. But are we really getting an official announcement tomorrow? I don't think so. I think the only thing that gets announced tomorrow is Mason Mount. And the point is as well, and look, I've spoken to a few people tonight, but I'm going to give a shout out to Ben Jacobs because I know he goes on a lot of channels, but I think he's been really good in relation to offering up, and he gets a lot of stick, but what he's actually been is right. He's always said, I'm not hearing that this deal is close. I'm not hearing that anybody's got exclusivity, and he's always been right. And it frustrates you because you want to know that it's Qatar. I get that. But he's always been right to be conservative about it. And speaking to him, he said, look, you know, even when the deal's ready to sign, they've got to seek approval from the board. And when they seek approval from the board, that will go public. They can't get, you know, regulation authority from the Premier League because that has to be applied for by the club, not Qatar, not Sir Jim. And therefore, it's very, very unlikely that anything is going to happen tomorrow based on, you know, nobody's really putting it out there that it is. So, look, I'd love United to be announcing the sale tomorrow. We all would. But I just think there's so many people talking and whispering at the moment. And I'll go back to, I think it was Ben Jacobs, or maybe it was Fabrizio, or maybe it was Mike Keegan, or I don't know. But it was somebody credible, and they said, the first you'll probably hear about this sale is from the losing side, because the losing side will want to save face. And the reality is, most of you want Sir Jim to be the loser, and he's still putting it out there that he's very much still in the race. Ross says, I'm staying in Manchester with my brother for a holiday and we're staying near Old Trafford. Can you give my brother Fraser a shout out, says Ross. Shout out to Fraser. O'Neill, welcome to Members Club. Jordan says, everyone's saying stock market needs to be open or ignorant. Bloomberg journalist said United may announce new ownership while stock market isn't open, says Jordan. I'd bow down to your better knowledge there, Jordan. My assumption is that the New York Stock Exchange being open when you announce the sale of Manchester United would be a lot more beneficial because you get a lot more trading on the stock exchange, and it's a publicly listed company. So I don't know. Maybe you're right. Don't lie. Tomorrow is a holiday in America. No sale. Eric Ten Hag, no to Mount Casido, says Christian. Okay, a few bits coming in there. Are you fired up tonight, says David. Not really. Look, I'm probably like a lot of you when it comes to this sale. I'm bored of it. Chris Johnson Adventures, I'm bored of it. I'm bored to the back teeth of it. And look, you can get excited about Qatar. You can get excited about Sir Jim. Crack on. You know what? When people were sending me the clips and the messages earlier, I was like, I'll read them when I've cooked my tea. I just really have lost interest in the sale of United. It's massive. I know it is. But until it happens, I'm really sort of like, you know, I've gone through the stages of I'm excited. Oh, we're going to do this. We're going to do that. It's been going on for so long now. I do think it will happen. I said this time last year I think it'll happen because of Old Trafford. But it'll happen when it happens. And to be honest with you, it's too late anyway. We can't impact this transfer window now. Too many good players have gone that we should have been signing. Too many good players are about to go that we should be signing. That's on the Glazers. That's how long this sale has taken. When it happens, I will get excited and curious. But until then, I've sort of like, it needed to happen 3 months ago, not now. Al Nazir joined Man United in the hunt for Onana. We can't win a single race, says Nicholas. Well, the interesting thing, well, I'll talk about that, Nicholas. We'll talk about that goalkeeper situation because there is interest in Saudi Arabia from Onana, but it's the same club that's interested in David De Gea, so it is a funny one. Would you be happy if Henderson was the starter? He did well for Sheffield United, says Ajit. Mate, you know what? Each to their own. It's all about opinion. I don't like Dean Henderson as a goalkeeper. I never did, and I still don't, and I don't want him as Man United's goalkeeper. And to be honest with you, I would say to him it would be a bad idea to be our goalkeeper, because there's a lot of people that don't rate you, and Onana absolutely destroys you. So, you know, at the end of the day, for me, I would have been happy to keep De Gea for a year and spend the money elsewhere. Many of you wanted De Gea gone for Onana. This is the same for me. Imagine how you feel about David De Gea, all the people that were desperate to get rid of him. I feel the same about Henderson. So, you know what? That's just what it is. I just do not rate Dean Henderson. I think he's John Cena of football. You know, I think he overacts. I think he does silly things because he thinks he's better than he is. You know, comes charging out of his goal sometimes because he thinks he's something that he's not. I think he's a mid-table goalkeeper. I don't think he's a top 4 goalkeeper. Look, the challenge is there. I don't know the guy, by the way. It's never personal. This is just an interpretation of his football. And I'm sure if you watch the United stand, he'd probably go, "I don't like you. You know, I don't like your I prefer Goldstein to Goldbridge. You know, each to their own." But I just don't rate him as a goalkeeper. What are the Glazers even waiting for now, though? Says Rudolph. And going to the United Wolves game, it will be my first time in Old Trafford. Hopefully I'll be able to watch some new signings, as said. I'm sure you'll see some. Klaus, welcome to the Members Club. Peter, welcome as well. We'll chuck your questions in. We can sort of interact with it. I've said the thing about the sale at the start. What I would say is, and I won't do this. I won't do this and haven't done this. I'll do it with the transfer, but I won't. I've said it about Højlund. I've said it about Højlund. You know I have. If Højlund signs for United, nobody was ahead of the game as us because we've got good sources on it. But I will say that about transfers, but I will not do it on the sale. This is too much of a big emotive subject to keep going. I've heard it's a done deal. Oh, it's going to happen tomorrow. Oh, it's definitely going to be Qatar. You just can't do that. It's too emotive. And also, what I would say is, if you have got him, and I don't know. You know, maybe Rio's got some information. Maybe Mike Keegan's got some information. You know, maybe Ben Jacobs has got some information. I don't know. But has it ever dropped into anybody's mind, this is a deal that can spike the stock market on a rumour? You can manipulate markets on a lie or a rumour. Why would somebody know Qatar or Tajim have won 24 hours before it happens? And why would they be the only person who knew? And why would you then be able to go and tweet it or put it on social media? When you look at it logically, it doesn't even make any sense. And I know people who've spoken to people close to these deals who've said, well, if it's happening tomorrow, we're not aware of it. And trust me, they'd need to be aware of it if you want them to win. So, look, let's see. It could be a brilliant guess. It could be a brilliant bit of information. But I just find it, tiring at this point about it's going to happen. 6 months we've been doing videos like this. I just want it to happen now. I really do. Mount done his medical today, but he hasn't been announced. Has he failed, or am I being stupid, says Harry? Fabrizio Romano announced that Mason Mount had completed his medical at about 5:45 tonight. United normally do announce things at 6 o'clock, but my prediction would be that if he completed his medical late afternoon, you've then got to do photos, interviews, etc. So I would say it'll be tomorrow now. Get a good day at it, break the internet, get the quotes out at a good time. Yeah, I'd say that will be some point tomorrow. I thought it might be this evening, but I don't think it will be this evening now. I think it'll be tomorrow. Is Eric Ten Hag teaming up with Pep to ruin United? All these great players available and he goes for Mount and Amrabat, says Christian. Well, it's about budgets, mate. King of the City, the first ever Wembley Tribbles tournament coming to Birmingham soon, says LJ. Get me involved. It's only down the road. I'll do it. Mark, how can you pair John Cena to Henderson, says Colin. It's just because he bangs his fist on the on the floor, isn't he? Anyway, let's go. Let's move on. Only thank you. I was panicking. Oh, thank you, says Harry. I was panicking. Let's talk about the goalkeeper situation, because there was somebody in the chat there saying that Randy Orton. It's Randy Orton, Joshua Bowwater says, not John Cena. And do you think that news tomorrow could be another Sir Jim bid because market's closed, says Yoni. Could be. And Ferdinand knows what the Glazers have put this fan base through. He shouldn't be saying things like this, knowing what we've been through, says Lee. And Onana, what's my name? Onana, what's my name, says Melps. Look, the end of the day, let's see what happens in the next 24 hours. Welcome to the Members Club Tic-Tac-Toe. Thank you very much. Is the Amrabat story true, says DK? Well, Fabrizio was on the show this afternoon. Give it a watch. There are no personal terms agreed. We were interested in a loan in January, but Fiorentina wouldn't loan him. And Fiorentina have said that no bids have gone in at the moment, but they would consider them if they did. I think we need a midfielder like De Paul from Atletico. What are your thoughts on that type of centre midfielder, Mark? Wouldn't do it for me, Red Devil, but, you know, doesn't mean that you're wrong. When are you going to record the Mount chant? Didn't get 1,000 likes, did it? I can't even remember what the song was. I'd need to have half my face on the camera as well. The Mount announcement is being delayed because the Glazers can't even decide which instrument they want him to play in his signing video, says Nate. Let's talk about the goalkeeper situation. So, quite rightly, somebody in the chat said that there's rumours that Saudi Arabia are looking to bid for Onana. The rumour is that it's Al Nassr, which is the team that Ronaldo plays for. That's the same team that's interested in David De Gea. So we've got a bit of a spiral going around here. Lloyd says Sidemen match ? Don't know what that means. Would Varane get number 4 if Mount gets number 19? Says James. I think that will logically happen with Phil Jones going yes. Al Nassr have made a lucrative offer to Onana. Somebody just said in the chat. Well, look, the Onana offer from Al Nassr would not surprise me because they're buying Ruben Neves, they're buying Benzema. Of course, they'd be interested in Onana. They need to buy some goalkeepers. They're interested in David De Gea as well. They will offer more money than Man United for a start, so that's a problem. But does he want to go and play in Saudi Arabia? Takeover announcements are pre or post market, says Alan. So I think that when it comes down to the Onana story, the one that I was going to talk about was that United apparently want to pay 40 million euros and Inter want 50 million euros. And there is hope that both clubs can meet in the middle. I think it's really important to say on the Onana deal that whilst we're Manchester United and we can mess up any deal, the reason we tend to do that is because everybody knows our business before we get the business done, and it leaves us open to Bayern Munich doing what they did with Kim Min-jae. So, yeah, somebody could swoop in and take Onana, and United don't have a massive amount of money to spend. United's big problem at the moment is they've spent 55 million. Well, they spent half the budget on Mason Mount. So, if half the budget is 55 million, they've got about 60 million left to spend, and they want a goalkeeper and a striker. There's a plan A and there's a plan B here. Even Fabrizio said this afternoon. The plan A would be Onana. Plan B would be keep De Gea and bring in someone like Bijlau from Feyenoord, who's cheaper. I don't know what United are playing at. And this has the potential to really blow up in our face in many ways. Because if Saudi Arabia enter the race and Onana's open to it, we're screwed. If Saudi Arabia enter the race and offer more than us, it makes it difficult. And it worries me that they've always got this chat with David De Gea in their pocket where they go, we're going to keep De Gea and we won't go for Onana. The backlash to that's going to be horrific, by the way, and they need to read the room. Onana, Rasmus, Mount, I'm happy with that, but what gets me is the price for Mount. We could have had Pau Torres. Why did we not do that deal, says Ray. Pau Torres doesn't play as a number 8, does he? I'm from the USA and tomorrow is Independence Day. Does the UK have Independence Day and you'll celebrate it? No, Kevin, we don't. Just a normal Tuesday for us. Why aren't we in for Sesko anymore? Same age as Højlund, and he's had a better season because he's just signing for Leipzig, Jack. And send Greenwood on loan to Atalanta for a year to sweeten the deal, says Raz. And news to come out tomorrow, not sale tomorrow. News may be a preferred bidder chosen or just a press release from Qatar saying we'll not bid anymore, says John Sem. Yeah, mate, if that's the news tomorrow, come on. You've got to look at your wording. You can't just say big news coming out tomorrow about the sale and then tomorrow there's a press release about we're not going to bid anymore. I mean, Mike Keegan's done that about 20 times in the last 6 months. That's not big news. They said it themselves 3 weeks ago. Oh, we're not going to bid anymore. And then we'll bid again in a couple of weeks when Sir Jim does. Like, that can't be the news. That can't be the news. I think the news tomorrow has got to be Qatar are going to sign by the club or Sir Jim's put a bigger offer in. That's news. They're the only two bits of news, really. The situation at the moment is Qatar put a bid in 3 or 4 weeks ago. They wanted to be preferred bidder. The Glazers said no and left the door open to Sir Jim. The only big news now is somebody gets picked or Sir Jim puts a bigger bid in. Did he just ask? Does Britain celebrate the day that America gained independence from Britain? Says Sean. Well, yeah, he did, Sean. I sort of swept over it. The news could be Sir Jim's out, but I think if Sir Jim was out, we would know that already. So there we go. But look, going back to the goalkeeper situation, nothing would ever surprise me with Manchester United. But remember, United have always let it be known that the Onana deal is not as advanced as Italian reports suggest. And the Italian reports have been very much talking about bid, advanced talks. I think those Italian reports are basically Inter trying to get us to bid because they desperately want to sell Onana. So would it be that shocking if Al Nazir came in now and gave in to what they want? Like, it could easily be that Onana just goes to Saudi Arabia. It could easily be that United pull out the deal and go and get a cheaper goalkeeper. But I'm telling you now, even as a fan of David De Gea, there cannot be a plan A and a plan B. You cannot miss out on Onana. This summer transfer window has been chaotic already. To miss out on Onana and go for a cheaper goalkeeper or use Henderson or use De Gea would be absolutely tragic in a footballing sense. It would leave us absolutely exposed. It would make us look like complete idiots. Onana wants to come to Manchester United. The fan base have decided that this is the goalkeeper they want. More importantly, Erik ten Hag has decided this is the goalkeeper he wants, and he knows him very, very well. We cannot not do this deal now, but we know we can not do it. And this is what I say about Rasmus Højlund. I know Ten Hag wants him. I know the player wants to come. And I know United want to buy him. But it doesn't mean they won't miss an open goal. And it doesn't mean they won't miss an open goal with Onana. And as I said at the start of the video, people will say, I can't believe Goldbridge is saying don't keep De Gea. But circumstances change. It's a bit like, you've got your dream girlfriend or your dream wife or whatever. And you absolutely adore them. You absolutely adore them and you want to stay with them forever. You don't want anybody else. And then you finish work early, you come home, you go upstairs and you see something you never want to see. It's not your fantasy. You're not one of those blokes who likes to sit in the corner and watch. And not with that many people doing it. You're absolutely mortified. You go downstairs, everyone pisses off. She has a shower. She comes down and she says, I love you. I just don't know what I did. I'll never do it again. And I know you love me, so let's carry on. But you go, no, you've screwed it. Quite literally, you've ruined it. I can't go back to what it was before. And I do love you and I do care about you, but you've ruined it. It's over. I will, you get Whitney Houston out. I will always love you. And that's how I feel about this De Gea situation. In a very different way, I would have kept De Gea for another year. If there'd never been talk about Onana, I would have kept De Gea for another year. If it had been what we thought it was, there's not enough money for a goalkeeper this year, we'll stick with De Gea for another year, we'll get a striker in, a centre-back in, a midfielder in, and we'll go for it next year. I would have been happy with that. But ultimately, there's been a reveal. And that reveal is like the bedroom. It's changed everything. You cannot, even I have to say, you cannot go in for Onana, mess it up, and then go, David, we want to keep you now. And the fan base goes, the difference between Onana and De Gea in relation to goalkeeping style is night and day. You had the Onana deal, you've messed it up, and now you're going back to the guy that you've basically humiliated publicly, that the fan base has decided they don't want anymore. That's not going to go well next season. That is not going to go well next season. He is already under scrutiny. He's going to get even more pelters now because people are going to go, we could have had Onana. You can't do that. It's not fair on De Gea. It's not fair on the fan base. It's not fair on De Gea. It's not fair on Onana either. So you just can't do that. You know, somebody said to me today, oh, I bet you're still praying that De Gea's going to stay. No, I'm not anymore. I've accepted it. I've moved on. I think David needs to accept it and move on. You can't, when you walk down that road, you can't come back. You can't walk down that road and come back. You can't walk down the road of, we want to get rid of De Gea. We're going to go for a ball-playing goalkeeper. And then go, we've changed our mind. Actually, it was a joke. We've changed our mind, everybody. I know you're all happy, but we're going to change. You can't do that. You can't do it. You know I'm right. Even if you desperately want De Gea to stay, you know I'm right. You can't go down that road and then change course. It wouldn't be fair on De Gea. He'd get absolutely pelted. Don't lie. Tomorrow is a holiday in America. No sale. Eric Ten Hag out. No to Mount. Get Casido, says Christian. Okay. Chris, welcome to the Members Club. Am I losing it, or does it seem Inter want us to get Onana? Pep talked about how Onana is impossible to high press. Pep up to his mind games again, says Red Devil. And maybe Inter is using the El Nazir offer to put pressure on Man United to put an official bid in. Even their CEO said last Friday they are waiting for it, says CLJ. I've done this a long time. I'm sure you've done this a long time. And I'm not even talking about the United stand. I'm talking about transfers. I'm a bit of a transfer boffin, as I'm sure many of you are. I go back to probably the early 90s. Graham Taylor, soccer manager on the Amiga. I just love manager games. And if you love manager games, you love transfers. And not only do you just start to find out about all sorts of players, but you just analyse everything. And I just, as I say, there's three, I think there's always three main factors behind a transfer story. One of them's pure bullshit, but we're not going to use that. One of them is the player wants a move, so they start circulating interest. Two of them, there's the club wants the move, so they start circling interest. And third one is probably the player wants a new contract, so they circle interest. And fourth is probably the least likely option, which is there is genuine interest in the transfer. I think in this one, there is genuine interest from Manchester United, but Inter Milan are pushing this. I've never seen so many Italian reports about us putting a bid in last Friday, and we never were putting a bid in last Friday. So I think Inter Milan are pushing it, which is in our favour. I mean, look, God, how many clubs do we have that don't want to sell us their players? So Inter Milan do want to sell him. He wants to come. We want to buy him. There should be a solution. There has to be a solution. I'll sit here right now and say, if we come out of this summer transfer window without Onana, I'll be gutted. I'll be like, how have we publicly gone in for him and then not got him? I mean, imagine if... I just despair. There's a nightmare there that we're back with De Gea and Henderson again. That just terrifies me that we might be in that situation. Why did the Glazers invite Ollie Mers to Old Trafford? We're Manchester United. Anyway, I'll send you a signed shirt. #Mersbridge, says Gary Neville. And Mark, traditionally takeovers of publicly listed companies are announced during market closure. Heinz, Dell, Twitter, some examples. United may be different, but it'd be best for Qatar to wait for close, says Q. Thank you very much for that, Q. Look, maybe something will happen tomorrow. Let's wait and see. But I'm not so sure. And I think what really sort of kicks in with me here as well is that, and we do have to keep acknowledging this, and I don't know why people don't. I don't know whether you saw it tonight. The Times or the Telegraph, I think it was the Times, were saying that effectively Manchester United are in for Lavia. They're interested in Lavia. But we were interested. I don't know whether it was the Times last week that said we were interested in Casido. I don't believe any of these stories at the moment, because why no Saudi clubs want to sign any United players? Wages isn't an issue. I bet if Martial was offered, they would take him, says Rashid. Maybe Saudi Arabia aren't that stupid to take some of our players. I'd love it if they did. You can get good fees for them. But look, Ziyech failed the medical. I mean, imagine bloody Anthony Martial trying to pass a medical as well. But I think with we're getting a lot of this stuff at the moment, and I don't know what you think, but I read it tonight. Man United are interested in Lavia, and I was like, we're not. Man United are in for Amrabat. We're not. Yeah, Man United are in for Casido. We're not. We're definitely not. We're definitely not. And you know why? We all know why. our budget genuinely is somewhere between 100 and 120 million quid. Genuinely, that's our budget at the moment. We've spent half of it on Mason Mount, which means we've got 60 million left. We're not interested in Lavia. We're not interested in Amrabat. We're not interested in anything that's going to go over 60 million quid, and we need a striker first. So we're not in for Lavia. We're not in for Amrabat because we haven't got the bloody money. So I don't like to say that, but it's a very unique transfer window where we absolutely know we've got £60 million left to spend. And we want 2 players for that. We want Højlund and we want Onana, but we can't afford it. So until we start selling players, we haven't even got enough for a goalkeeper and a striker. And that's where we are. So when I see Lavia, Amrabat and all that lot, I'm sure United would like to. I'm sure Ten Hag would like them. But, we're not even having a chat with Harry Maguire until this week. Scott McTominay's still bloody training. Dean Henderson's turned up for training today. Brandon Williams is probably there as well. Fred's probably going to be training soon. We absolutely have got to sell players if we want to buy players, and we're just not selling anybody. So, I don't like to be the bearer of bad news, but we've got £60 million to spend. Onana and Højlund do not go into 60 million quid. With Mount signing, I think he gets number 19 and Varane gets his iconic number 4 back, says Kevin. I would hope so. And to all Americans here, happy Independence Day tomorrow. Good luck versus the aliens, and I hope Will Smith slaps the right one, says Joy. You know what? I know a few people who absolutely love that film. I think it's crap, Independence Day. I just think it's a stupid film. Sorry, I was just a little bit on the sale, but nothing really to add. Didn't you say we would surely spend 200 million in spite of sale, as per your sources, says Glazers out? No, I didn't. No, I didn't say that. You can try and catch me out, and sometimes I can be caught out, but don't try and lie. I said that on August the 31st, come back with your receipts, and it'll add up to £200 million. That's what I said. Man United will spend £200 million this summer. Come back on August the 31st, because that's the only time you can judge that. JT says you did say that. No, I didn't. I didn't say we were going to spend £200 million without sales. I've never said that. Never said that. Get me the clip. Go and watch my old videos. It's all ad revenue. But no, seriously, I didn't say that. We haven't got £200 million to spend. I said we will spend £200 million by August the 31st. That's what I said, and I'm saying it to you again now. I did not say we will spend £200 million without sales. That would be thick. It would be illogical. It doesn't make any sense. We have to sell to buy. But we will spend £200 million. By August the 31st, we will spend it. But we can't spend it now because we haven't got 200 million. We have to sell some players to do it. So there we go. Lots of people are now saying you did. I'm not an idiot. I'm not falling for your trolls. Most of you probably haven't got the brains to realise what I said when I said it, and I've said it multiple times. You're basically trying to get me to admit, which I didn't, that we've got 200 million in our budget and we don't need to sell any players. I don't care how pissed I was. I don't care whether it was a Friday night. I don't care whether I'd been on the hay fever tablets and was drowsy. There is absolutely no way I would have said we're going to spend £200 million and we don't need to sell anybody. You're mixing me up with one of the other idiots on the other channels. I really doubt United paid 55 million for Mount all up front. It would be in instalments, and that fee would be spread over the course of the contract for financial fair play. I don't think 60 million is what's remaining, says Mo. You might be right, Mo. You might be right. I think that they probably... I get the feeling they might have sort of 40 million quid for... maybe 40 million pounds, but 40 million for an Onana. Look, let's not get into precise figures. I think they might have enough to get Mount, Onana and Højlund, and that's it. And then you've got to go on sales. But because of course, Of course, there could be what do they call it? Installments, and there could also be the capability to do that, but there's not going to be the money to do anything else without sales. Let's have a look at it. Exclusive. Al Nazir have lodged a lucrative offer for Onana, Manchester United's first choice goalkeeper. The Saudi Pro League wants the best players they can find, and there weren't many keepers better than Onana last season. I mean, look, it's dangerous, isn't it? That's a soccer correspondent for CBS. It is dangerous. It is dangerous because Saudi Arabia have got more money than us. I mean, it's funny to say. Well, no, it's not funny to say that, is it? I don't know why I'm laughing about it. But Saudi Arabia have got enough money to take a player from Wolves. You know, they've got enough money to take Benzema from Real Madrid a year early. They have got the money to go and do it. You know, it's always dangerous as well. I mean, a few people in the chat are saying, oh, he definitely won't go. He won't want to go to Saudi Arabia. He'll want to play at the highest level. But you don't know him. You don't know Onana. I don't know Onana. I really don't. So, you know, Ruben Neves decided in his mid-20s to go and play in the Saudi Arabian League. So, look, maybe they're going to make him an offer he can or refuse. I don't know. Maybe Onana does go to Saudi Arabia, but I tell you what, you know, sometimes you start a show and you get panicked, and what happens? Is it possible to get Tchouaméni on loan to Zed? Let's stay with the goalkeeper. I want to put this to you. What happens if we do not get Onana? Because even that makes my heart drop. That makes me go, shit. There's still David Raya there. There is still David Raya there. There's maybe Costa from Porto, as AK says. But I'm going to be honest here. Onana was the one that made me go, look, I don't want De Gea to go, but if he does go, that's the goalkeeper, because he's box office. If you don't get Onana and you go for Raya, I'm like, I'm not so sure. If you don't get Onana and you go for Costa, I like him better than Raya, but I'm still like... The thing about Onana is, I'm not saying he's light years ahead of Costa, but what he does have is the personality that you're going to have to be a Man United goalkeeper. You can't be a shrinking violet. You've got to be Mr. Personality. And he has got that. But with that personality comes charisma and unpredictability. And unpredictability might be, I do fancy Saudi Arabia earning millions of pounds a month. So... what I will say is, I don't think United have handled this goalkeeper situation very well. They weren't looking to replace De Gea. Then suddenly in the last few weeks they were, and they removed the contract. If you're going to make that decision, it should have been dealt with quickly. De Gea, I mean, by all accounts, we haven't even spoken to De Gea since he went on holiday. He left to go on holiday thinking there was a contract on the table, and then he's found out whilst on holiday there isn't. We've not secured Onana. We've not spoken to De Gea. Dean Henderson's back in training. We want Bijlow from Feyenoord as well. It's a mess. And look, I'm not saying if they miss out on Onana, it's going to be riots at United. We've seen riots for more important things. Protests, I mean. We've seen United mess up many a deal. But this, I mean, can you imagine a situation where, you know, De Gea's number one next season, or Dean Henderson's number one next season? It's just, it doesn't, you can't go from Onana down to that. You can't. You just can't do that. United, and as well with Onana, I actually don't know why United I don't know why it's been spoken about so much, because I don't know that United are actually ready to put a bid in. I don't know that. I genuinely don't know that. And I'm not saying that I should know that, but from where we were at the end of the week, there was this story that United are not as advanced as the Italian reports are saying. So this bid's going to have to go in soon. If no Onana was screwed, unreal mess up, says JT. These will happen when it comes to signings. We always take months with one deal. It's sad to say, but why can't we learn from Liverpool, says Andre. Maybe Onana wants to play for Gerrard, says Kyle. And I think with any new goalkeeper, we'll see a drop in shot-stopping abilities. Let's hope passing will outshine this area, says EG. Chris, welcome to the Members Club. I mean, God, somebody just said there, do you think it's a PR stunt? Imagine tomorrow Onana signs for Saudi Arabia and then the story comes out, we were never really in for Onana anyway. I mean, that's happened to us before. I don't think that's going to happen. I have to believe that they'll get this deal done because it's caused so much bloody uproar. Henderson can do one, says Wazim. The Muppet disrespected the club. Has everyone forgotten this, says Wazim. In relation to what Henderson said, I couldn't really give a toss about that. To me, I made my decision on Henderson a long time ago. I thought the way he behaved when he was the understudy to De Gea was not how you should behave. It wasn't respectful. He didn't come in and do a very good job himself. And I just thought, this is a guy that's got a massive ego that's bigger than his ability. I don't want a goalkeeper like that. I don't want a centre-back like that. I don't want a right-back like that. I don't really care about his interviews because that's personalising it. I just don't rate the goalkeeper. Let's just... look, somebody just said there about the transfer window. What are your thoughts on that? I think it's very, very difficult to predict what's going to happen to United or any club on the 3rd of July. It's very difficult. But if I had to do... But I can do it. I won't hide from it. If you're asking me, what do I think about next season for Manchester United right here, right now, based on transfer activity that's been done and planned transfer activity, I think that Man City are going to win the league next year. Very, very boring, but I think Man City will win the league next year. And I think that the way things are going, Arsenal and Liverpool are going to have better first 11s than us. And it will be us, Newcastle and Chelsea fighting it for 4th at the moment. But it's only July the 3rd. Things can change and they can get worse. I mean, if Newcastle and Chelsea have better windows than us, I'd put us outside the top 4. So at the moment, I'd put us 4th, fighting with Chelsea and Newcastle. Maybe 3rd, but, I just think that that's the way it's going to go based on things at the moment. But I said at the start of last season, I couldn't see us getting top 4. So you can never underestimate Ten Hag. But yeah, blunt as you like, we've got to salvage some positivity from this transfer window because at the moment, Mason Mount ain't enough. It's nowhere near enough. And as I said on Sunday night, if you'd said to me at the end of the transfer window, at the end of the season, Erik Ten Hag's going to prioritise an upgrade on Christian Eriksen and that's it, I'd have said, you're having a fucking laugh. I guarantee you that's not what Ten Hag wants to do. He clearly wants a striker. As many of you said, a goalkeeper. He'd need another centre-back and he needs another holding midfielder. You don't look at that United side and say, blow the budget on Mason Mount and upgrade on Christian Eriksen. So I think that there has to be more spending. Do you think the budget will increase if Qatar takeover is complete? Also, do you think the club will be more assertive after the takeover? Well, yes, Rasler. Yeah, we will be more assertive, but I don't know how the budget can increase when they're not going to get hold of the club for at least another 6 weeks, even if it was announced tonight. Because what happens is, once the Glazers decide they want to sell to Qatar, the club then has to apply to the Premier League to do all the checks, which, might take a while. We will struggle to make top 8 next season, says Raswell. I don't agree with that. Can we buy the keeper we want, get a striker on loan with a buy clause, says Tony. Why would somebody give us a good striker on loan? I'd rather I went in net before Henderson and I'm as athletic as a brick. We might have to look to Kovar as a backup, says Andy. And say in a perfect world we do get some sort of announcement. Can they have an effect on the transfer window, says Kevin. And... I'm sorry to repeat this stuff, but a few people are asking this. If we do get the announcement of a sale soon, can they have an impact on the transfer market? You do know it's July. You do know we've had a month of the transfer window already. And you do know that the season starts in a month. Even if they could have an impact on the transfer window tomorrow. In many senses, it's late. It's too late. Like, there's too much stuff gone on already. But they won't be able to have a say tomorrow because they won't actually be owners of this football club until August at the earliest. So there might be some player that's still around that you can spend some stupid money on in late August, but it's only going to be like Anthony and Casido, isn't it? You know, they're not going to, Casemiro, they're not going to have an impact on the team at the start of the season or pre-season. It's a Glazer transfer window, isn't it? I think if you accept that, that's what it is. We will end up loaning 3 or 4 players in the last few weeks of the transfer window. It will be our panic buying cycle. We do it every year, says Wazim. And you might be right, Wazim, because I think that a Glazer summer very much follows the course that this one has. You go into it with a lot of hope that you're going to sell a load of players and buy some players. You get to the start of July, you've only got one in the door and they've not even had the announcement yet. You've sold nobody and you suddenly realise, basically, we've wasted a month already. There's only really a month and a half left, which is about 7 weeks, 8 weeks. We're not going to get everything done. We know we're not going to get everything done. And there probably will be a lot of panic done in August. Considered Keylor Navas, if miss out on Onana, ridiculously short term, but he's a solid keeper who could do a job for 1 or 2 seasons. We need 2 strikers as well, says the Beast. Hey. You know, if we had the money that Ten Hag should have, I'd get 2 strikers, 2 midfielders, a centre-back and a goalkeeper. I'd get 6 players. That's what I would do. We need 2 strikers. You're right. We do need 2 strikers. We've needed 2 strikers for over a year. The fact that we haven't got any is absolutely incredible, really. But Chris Wheeler from the Mail. Sorry, I meant to mention this. Chris Wheeler from the Mail said that we need Mawani is still very much in the equation. I mentioned Mawani talking about 2 strikers because I saw that from Chris Wheeler in the Mail. It was also something that Fabrizio mentioned to Beth this afternoon as well. So I wouldn't discount Mawani from Frankfurt. The striker market is still really interesting. Bayern Munich need a striker, and it could be Harry Kane, but it could also be Mawani. Could also be Højlund, actually. You know, I hope not. But the striker situation is really interesting. I think for United at the moment, they're priced out of Osman. They're priced out of Kane. So Højlund is the one I'm expecting for obvious reasons. But there always has to be an alternative, and I think Mawani would be it. If you'd said to me 8 months ago that was the type of striker we were going to go for, I'd say we're still owned by the Glazers, aren't we? Because this is a very Glazer summer. You know, Erik Ten Hag finishes 3rd in the league, gets Champions League football back, wins our first trophy in years, desperately wants a top striker. I remember when we were having arguments and debates about Kane or Osman. To be sat here in July knowing that we're not going to get either, it's a shame, isn't it? Mark, jumping the gun a bit. Hopefully, January window should be interesting for us, says Mo. I was asked this morning, Mo, and to me, that's just throwing in the towel. That's just defeatist. I mean, you know, I refuse to get excited about a January transfer window for 2 reasons. One, the best players are never really available in volume in January. You can get the occasional Bruno, the occasional Luis Diaz, Enzo Fernandez, but you can't get the best in the January transfer window like you can in the summer. So the January transfer window, you should always be buying 1 player. But I'd hate to see us hit the January transfer window like Chelsea did, where you spend 300 million. It's dangerous. Also, it's not massively appealing to me because we're basically writing next season off then, aren't we? You know, if you need to spend loads of money in January, it's because you're desperate. And if we're desperate, we won't be having a good season. So I don't get excited about the January transfer window. I'm concerned about this season. I want us to still salvage something from this one. But I think you're right, Mojo, and I said it this morning. I think if we did get Qatari ownership, they will hit the January transfer window because it's their first one to hit. But yeah, it should have been this summer. And we've only got 6 people to blame, and their surname is Glazer. Sheikh Jazim might not have as much dollar as you think. Otherwise, he would just pay the asking prices, Brian. And that probably goes down as the most silly comment of the night. Have you ever heard of business? Why? Maybe he can afford 10 billion, but why should he get? Why would you give it? What people need to realise is this money is going to the Glazers, who have ran the club badly, have put it in debt, and then you get the odd fan every now and again who goes, well, if they're so rich, why don't they just give them what they want? I wouldn't give them the steam off my piss, to be honest. But he's a businessman. Like, why should he not negotiate? All I'm saying is Qatar and Sir Jim are not the big villain in this piece. They shouldn't have to give the Glazers whatever they want. They've got every right to negotiate. The Glazers are the villains in this, and they always have been. How about Ramos as a striker, says Addy? Depends. I like Ramos at Benfica. I really do, but depends on the price. Mojo has gifted 20 memberships. You're a legend, mate. Thank you very much. Anyway, look, thanks everyone for tuning in tonight. I got to be honest, I sort of hit the show with a lot of energy and it's drained me because I don't thrive on repeats. I don't like UK Gold. I don't like the History Channel. The transfer window is meant to be energising. It's meant to be new. Imagine if you were a Liverpool fan. Oh, we've got Szoboszlai, we've got McAllister, we're going in for Lavia now. You're energised with every deal. Same with Arsenal. Oh, Havertz. Oh, now it's Rice. Now it's going to be Timber. United. It's just it's like, it gets to the point where you're just almost like, surely I've spoken enough over this summer transfer window that somebody can just take my audio and just rejig it and put a show out and I can go to the cinema. It's no, I'm joking. I absolutely love, I've done this for so long and it's the community that, is why I do these shows. But sometimes you do come out of it drained. You go into it with more energy than you come out. But a lot of the time you go into a show and you come out of it with more energy than you start. I'm just tired of the sale. I'm just tired of, we've now got this concern about the Onana transfer, haven't we? Just need to start getting to think some things done. Is it too much to ask to have a little bit of positivity? Just get the Onana deal done, or get the Højlund deal done, or get. Is it too much to ask that we actually get some clarity on the sale of the club as well? I don't know. Anyway, look, thanks everyone for watching. We're all. I suppose the one thing to be positive about is that we're all in it together, and we all feel the same, don't we? Which is why we do it. Make sure you smash a like on the video and subscribe. Let's see what tomorrow brings. I'm going to predict there will be no announcement on the sale tomorrow. I would love to be right. I'd love to be wrong on that, but I don't think that's what it's going to be. But let's wait and see. Take care, everyone. I'll speak to you all in a bit.